Hi everyone, it's Christine at Zeidman Development, and today I'm going to walk you through a demonstration of the individual relationships data destination. So this data destination allows you to import individual relationships into the Razor's Edge. So those relationships can include adding a spouse record, adding another family record such as a child or a parent, adding a sibling or even a friend. You can also use the individual relationships data destination to add contacts to an organization. So if your primary constituent in the import file is an organization, you can add a contact of maybe the owner or your company, the company's primary contact to your organization. So tons of functionality with those pieces. We can also link relationships together. So if you're at a school and you're adding an entire family, you can do some cross-linking to allow you to not only create one layer of relationships within your template, but you can create multiple layers. So maybe you have two parents and a child, and you have all three of them as constituents in the Razor's Edge. You can link a relationship between the parents as well as relationships between each of the parents and the child. So tons of really great functionality. And the best part about it all is you can do all of that within one import. So just to show you a little bit about what that might look like in your template, you can see we are in Importacular, and I am in a template that has some work with individual relationships. I do have a primary constituent set up here on my Constituents tab. And if we come to my Individuals tab, I have a secondary constituent with a relationship here. So I could also add an additional non-constituent relationship, and then I could choose to link that to either of my other two records. So maybe I want to add parent 2 and link parent 2 to parent 1. I can do that. Tons of different work there. You can then fill in the fields to indicate what information you have regarding this record. So if we have a second parent name, we can add that to our template here. Scroll up so we can add that first name. We can come down and add a reciprocal, so maybe we know that these are all spouses. We can also add that checkbox down here to make the spouse box populate. So once we've done that, we now have two relationships set up in our mapping. We have parent 1 and we have parent 2. Now, one of the other things that Importacular allows us to do with these individual relationships is we can actually set customized criteria sets for these individual relationships. So we can look in Razor's Edge to see if the relationships already exist before we do our import. That way we're not adding additional relationships that look exactly the same as relationships that are already there. Last but not least, I do want to highlight that you can use the individual relationships data destination in order to add soft credits. So you don't have to add a relationship to use this, but you do need that in order to add the constituent or to access the ability to work with a constituent ID. So let's close our template. I do want to show you our review screen as the last part of our demonstration for today, so you can see what these relationships look like and a little bit of the review process that you have before the import. So if you've used Importacular, this first screen should already be familiar to you. We can see if constituents are in the Razor's Edge or not. It looks like I have quite a few that are already in the Razor's Edge that we're updating. But what I want to show you is on my Individuals tab. So in this tab, you can see I have now two columns that say create and update, and they're going to do two different things. So the constituent action here is looking to see if this constituent, the relationship, exists in the Razor's Edge. So in the first row, James Bond is our primary constituent. So we saw him on the first tab, but John Bond is the relationship to James. Now we can see on this row down below, John Bond already exists, both as a relationship to James and as a constituent. So that's what update is referring to. And if we open the record in the Razor's Edge, we can see that John Bond already has two relationships. He's related to Judy, his spouse, and to James, his child. So let's go ahead and let's close that record in the Razor's Edge. We've got Holly Rosebush. Now, Holly has a create because we don't see Scott Rosebush either as a constituent in the Razor's Edge or as a relationship to Holly. When we come to the row for Edward, we can see that Bob Cullen does exist in the Razor's Edge, but he doesn't already have a relationship to Edward. So when we click import on Importacular, we're not only going to update the constituent record for Bob, but we're going to create a relationship between that existing constituent and Edward's record. I hope that this is helpful for you as you're thinking about what you could do with the individual relationships data destination in Importacular. Thank you so much for joining me today for this demonstration. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to our sales team. We'd be happy to help. Have a great day.